Hi, this is Adriana McLean with FulfillingStrategy.com, where we talk about everything strategy, and we believe that strategy is not a planning document, it's the process of daily discipline. So I'm really excited to talk to you today about the 5 best practices that'll help you maximize your customer insights. So as you know, I'm a huge advocate of using customer insights to inform your strategy. Understanding the voice of your customer is essential to creating a winning strategy. So if you're going to go to the time and effort and investment to get customer feedback, I want to make sure you get the most out of it. So in this second installment in my 3-part series on customer insights, I'm going to share with you 5 best practices to help you get the most from those initiatives. So let's dive right in. So the first best practice is compare to the competition. So when you're designing customer feedback surveys, we're typically looking for how our customers view our performance against critical attributes that are important in delivering our value proposition. So these are the attributes that should matter the most to our customers. So a rating scale question is a really good way to collect this feedback. I recommend when you ask your customers to rate your performance, you ask them to do it in comparison to your competition. So let's say, for example, you want to ask how you're doing with respect to product selection, customer service, and ease of doing business. So I would recommend you word the question something like, overall, how would you compare our performance to the competitors with respect to product selection, with respect to customer service, respect to ease of doing business? And I typically do a 5-scale question ranging from extremely better all the way to extremely worse. So asking how you're doing relative to the competition is vital for 2 reasons. First, it gives you insights into areas of weakness you may have and gaps you need to close. But second, it also gives your customers a reference point of comparison, making the responses much more objective. So for instance, overall ratings tend to be higher when asking to rate a company's performance against a list of attributes than when you ask those exact same customers to rate those attributes compared to the competition. And really the goal is to obtain insights that are as objective as possible to use them to inform your strategy. And comparing your performance to the competition is a great way to achieve that. So the second best practice is keep the right perspective. So important. Remember, when you seek customer feedback, it's really essential to craft your questions from their perspective. In other words, it should be clear to your customer by the questions you're asking that you understand their needs and concerns. They should feel like you get them. For example, in customer journey mapping, design the phases and experience from the customer perspective. You want your customer to know you're genuinely interested in what they are experiencing throughout the journey with your business and not just the impact on your business. You know, at the end of the day, people are busy. When customers are generous enough to share some time to help us improve our business, the questions we ask should have a clear connection to their needs and how we may serve them better. The third best practice is get quantitative data, measurable data. I'm a big fan of qualitative data like customer interviews, no doubt, but because this type of data provides opportunities for deeper dives into issues that can produce powerful insights. But that said, I recommend qualitative data be paired with quantitative data like Net Promoter Score and other performance ratings in the following ways. Number 1, to inform deeper dive customer interviews, and number 2, to provide benchmarking and comparative metrics. So let's talk about informing customer interviews. So quantitative survey data is a great way to provide insights into potential opportunities and challenges you want to understand better. I always try to do some sort of quantitative survey before I do customer interviews because this data can highlight trends that you're going to want to explore further with your customers. So use quantitative survey data to help you hone in on those most critical issues you want to focus on when you talk one-on-one with your customers. And then also the second thing is providing benchmarks and comparative data. So using metrics like Net Promoter Score, and remember, Net Promoter Score is a question worded like, how likely is it that you would recommend this company to a friend or colleague? So Net Promoter Scores and performance rating data provide benchmarks and measures regarding how you're doing over time. It allows you to see changes and trends that you'll want to investigate. It also allows you to make comparisons against customer segments. For instance, you can compare net promoter scores by segmenting how much volume customers do with you or what type of customer channel it is. So it's really, really useful that way. And comparative analysis is tremendously valuable for identifying trends and for using in root cause analysis. So the fourth best practice I'd like to share with you is different segments mean different questions. So I do recommend you use the same quantitative survey questions, like Net Promoter Score, across all of your customer segments. But when you have a chance to interview customers, your focus might shift depending on that customer segment. So we're going to talk about 3 customer segments, the first being your best customers. So your best customers likely make up most of your business. So of course, it's critical to stay very close to them and understand their needs. They also know you the best, and they're going to know when your performance has shifted in your organization. So ask them questions like, what are their future goals and growth plans, and what do they see as their biggest challenges? This will give you an opportunity to understand where they're headed and to make sure you can meet their changing needs. Are there mix shifts in the products or services that they get from you? You'll want to know what's driving those decisions. It is a reflection of changes in their business or the industry overall. Have they experienced any changes in the level of service or quality of products from you? Customers feel the process breakdowns in your business, and your biggest customers will be the most likely to feel the effects first. And ask them, this is one of my favorite questions, what's the one thing you could do that would make doing business with you easier? This question uncovers frustrations your customers have that might not be material at the moment, but they could become a considerable problem if left unaddressed. Another segment that you're going to want to talk to, and that is your customers with declining sales. So customers with declining sales can tell you a lot, and you're going to need to understand if the decline is a market phenomenon or if they're just buying less from you. Ask them, are their sales down because their business is contracting? So business contraction could be a market signal that's vital to your business. It might also be an opportunity to provide added value if there's a way for you to help them grow their business. If their sales are down with you because they're buying more from the competition, you need to learn everything about why they're choosing your competition. What is the competition doing that you're not? What are some specific examples when you've lost their business, and what was their process for choosing the competition? What might you be able to do to win back that business? And lastly, look for mix shifts. Are their sales down across the board, or are there specific categories that are declining? These declines can signal problems you might have in particular areas of your business that you're going to want to address immediately. And the last segment is lost customers and prospective customers. So lost customers provide great insight into potential market disruption, challenges, and competitive threats. And your prospective customers will offer valuable feedback about the competition. So as far as lost customers, ask them why you lost their business. Was it a triggering event, or was it a gradual process over time? What was their actual decision process, and how specifically is the competition serving them better? Is there a potential market disruption at play? If you have quantifiable survey data from that customer, take a look at it and see if there were indicators that you missed, like a declining net promoter score or performance ratings. And as far as your non-customers or your not yet customers, survey non-customers to understand how they think of your brand relative to the competition. What are their objections, or do they just lack awareness of your brand? Why do they do business with your competition? And what do they think the competition does better than you? Are there areas where they're currently underserved that might be an opportunity for you? And under what circumstances would they consider doing business with you? And what would that process be? How might you make the process and cost of switching to your company be a lot easier for them? So I know I listed a ton of questions, and I'm going to put a link in the notes to my blog post where I've got a download that you're not going to want to miss. It's 25 great questions to ask your customers. These questions are all in there, along with some other questions that'll help you kind of jumpstart your customer feedback initiatives, or really just serve as idea starters. So be sure you check out that link and download that. Okay, so the last and final best practice I want to share with you is find out why you lose business. Okay, so we talked about covering the importance of talking to customers with declining sales or customers with whom you've lost business. But I recommend quantitatively asking all of your customers to provide feedback on when you've lost business. Even your best customers may have had to buy from your competition in certain instances, and you need to understand that. So I recommend you include in your annual survey to your customers a question that reads something like this. Are there instances in which we have lost any of your business to the competition? If they reply yes, ask them a follow-up question, and I like to do it in the format of a drag and drop rating question. Ask them, what are the main reasons we lose your business to the competition? Please rank in order of priority. So I prefer a ranking question over a checkbox because you want the customer to share what factor was most important in the decision. Of course, there may have been several, but this forced ranking will uncover the most important reasons, and that's what you want to understand. The responses to this question will provide valuable insights into areas that you need to improve, and it will also shed light on differences among customer segments. You can also add a qualitative follow-up question to the survey like, would you help us by providing a specific example of when we lost some of your business? And if the customer is willing to take the time to answer that question, it'll go a long way in providing context and greater clarity around potential problems. So those are the 5 best practices I wanted to share with you in getting the most out of your consumer insights. In my next post, I will talk about how to integrate customer feedback throughout the organization throughout the year. So until then, be sure and check out my blog post on fulfillingstrategy.com and sign up for all the tools and references and resource material there. And until next time, work well.